People talk about unified field of consciousness, unified field of joy, unified field of love, and different fields. I wonder if all different unified fields exist simultaneously in different frequencies. Okay. This is a big question, and there are many, 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 many roadmaps presented within the quantum fabric to bring forth relevant, greater exploration and relevance to the concept of unity and a unified field. And so one thing that comes forth instantaneously is that all fractals of creation, all sparks of creation that have uniquely individuated from the field of prime source creator of all creation, instantaneously flow into a field, a unified field of creation. Each and every fractal of creation, of source that flows into creation and begins to create as a unique spark, as a unique individuation in the full unity, in the full connection throughout its entirety of existence, is threaded in a quantum fabric, if you will, of a unified field, the unified field of source. So then throughout each and every system of creation, there are different matrices, different codexes, different fields of creational codex that have been brought forth into expression. And some of these creational fields holding an intention to express themselves in a way in which they would be perceived within a certain system of creation as being separate from. For instance, and in relevance to our human experience, we oscillate as a collective consciousness of humanity often until we reach a certain precipice of our conscious awareness and embodiment in a perception, in an illusion of separation, feeling as though we are separate from all other planetary systems of existence, separate of even one another here as from one human to the next. Our familial unit is separate from this familial unit or our next door neighbors. And when in the reality of it, all systems of creation to have ever sparked as a unique individuation from source and span out into all different layers and levels of agendas and collectives are part of the unified fabric. So it would be somewhat unique to bring forth an answer or an expression to answer the question at hand, due to everything being in connection as one, with specificity to the unified field of love. Let's go there for a moment. So even within a particular codex of creation, let's take, for example, a favorite, the Christos archetype of unconditional love. This particular unified field of unconditional love holds a codex and a system of creation unique to every creational system that it streams into and through. And yet, and additionally, is part of the overall and all existing unified field of creation. And yet it holds a unique sound, light, and plasmic field and signature to it that holds a level of integrity that always brings it back to a 0 point connection within its inception point through the grandest system of the Christos creational codex. And yet it flows through uniquely into each creational system, expressing itself within that system's codex, within the different layers and levels of quantum fabric, within the different levels and layers of the matrices within any given creational system, right? And yet unwavering in its foundation, unwavering in its unified codex. So it may appear to span out and reflect itself uniquely within any given system. Let's take Earth, for instance. And yet unwavering and woven into its creational codex is the unified field that allows for it to always hold this pristine nature that takes it directly back to its original inception point, if you will. So going in another direction with this is, then would it be expressed uniquely in all different levels and layers of conscious perception within a dimensional range, right? Within, let's say, going from the third dimensional range of bandwidth or perception, resonance, to the fourth, to the fifth, to the sixth, the seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, and so forth. And the answer to that would be yes. Again, depending on where one is participating and conduiting their consciousness into, is going to be a unique vantage point and perception of what that unified field, whether it be love, whether it be compassion, whether it be joy, what it looks like, what it feels like, how it expresses itself. And then even in that would be unique to the one who is observing. So there's so many different ways in which to navigate through what a unified field is. And we can take it from the sphere of all creation, if you will, encompassing every single fractal of creation to have ever come into existence, and work our way in curiously to the infinite ways in which it participates. And we still would likely have lifetimes upon lifetimes upon lifetimes upon lifetimes to explore even new ways of perceiving what is to be considered a unified field. Okay, that was interesting. Let's see, what else is existing in this question? Is the Akashic record one of the unified fields? Ooh, this is a good one. Okay. So the Akashic record could be considered a unifying field, as it has an intention. Well, first, we're taking the idea and the concept of an Akashic record, but what has recently been further revealed or accessed for the many, and there have always been the outliers that have had access to this all along, conscious access to this all along, is that there are infinite systems which would be recognized as Akashic records. Infinite systems within even our own Earth experience. Different layers, different levels of what is to be considered a hall of records. And within this infinite field of records, which we are now more and more and more and more and more allowed or capable of accessing, we recognize that they all hold unique bandwidths of source codex. And certain beings are going to magnetize and open and ignite and access some of these systems, and others perhaps not. And it's really in relevance from the vantage point being shown to each and every one of our unique blueprints here. So because of the nature, the infinite nature of existence and the infinite nature of timelines created or experience created or threads of creation that are created and instantaneously imprinted into the quantum fabric, the unified field of all creation. And because every single being has a unique blueprint and unique travel itinerary, we'll say, it would be perhaps disorienting or to a disadvantage almost, if you will, to have access instantaneously to all layers of the Akash that are available, to all these different systems of records. But to go back to the question itself, is an Akashic record considered a unified field? It could very well be classified as such because of the fact that its intention is a unified intention to hold a system, a clear and concise system of records. And the system of records is held in, of course, the overall unified fabric of creation. But the intention is what creates its classification, if you will, as a unified field. And yet, even in that, we're going beyond the linear concept and how one likes to take a definition and create a very finite system of what can fit into that definition and what cannot. So for all intents and purposes, the answer to it is yes. It can very well be considered in terms of its creational codex and how we perceive the unified field here, or what we perceive intellectually as a unified field here. It would be considered as such.